Are our dreams just random images fired from an unconscious brain during sleep? Or something much more important, like life-saving inner guidance? How dreams can be healing and early warning tools for disease, financial crisis, or success. And love is still one of the behavioral science's greatest unanswered questions. Hello, I'm your host, author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Welcome to Dreaming Healing, where dreams and cutting-edge scientific research meet on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Dreaming Healing is every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, when you can call in and ask Kat questions about your amazing dreams. Talk on air. Call toll-free 833-220-1200. That's 833-220-1200. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. And I am your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. But my friends all call me Kat, so I hope you will too. We are going to be talking about walking old roads, dream work, and you. And our guest tonight is going to be talking about a book she wrote about all of her memories growing up. Who here listening tonight does not have a memory? I need to see your hand because you're going to be a very interesting person. I may want you on my next show. So when you revisit memories of your early life, let me ask you, audience, are you happy? Are they happy visits, or are they filled with regrets? And if those visits flow over into your dream world, can they be considered dream work? Is there something that maybe you can work on to help you make it through some of those more difficult memories? The dream experts actually say yes, yes. And author Tammy Hader is here to discuss the step-by-step in and outs of walking old roads with us. And we all have old roads. Hey, if we're 2 years old, we've actually got an old road. So we're going to be talking about that in the show tonight. But first, we're going to do our protection and clearing meditation. So I want all of you listening, and if you're only listening and you'd like to see us, because we are a video podcast, you can actually watch us. If you go to my website, The Queen of Dreams, or you can type in Kat, The Queen of Dreams. It'll take you right to my website. And at the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little black button. Click that. It'll take you to Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, my web page on their site. And you'll look on that page, there'll be a little TV with a little antenna on it. Just click that, and it will take you to the video shows, all of them. Okay, so and if you're listening right now to this live show, if you click it, it'll take you there right now, and you get to watch us. All right. So before we do that, though, I want everybody who's in the audience to settle into your chair, because we're going to do our quick clearing and healing meditation. All right. So if you're new to the show, just follow my voice. Feel your shoulders relaxing. Close your eyes. Just feel your spine going really limp so that you feel yourself getting heavy in your chair. If you're driving in your car and listening to this show on the radio, do not close your eyes. It will still work. Just listen. I want you to imagine that you are in a serene place. And now you're going to breathe in a deep breath of that serenity. Deep breath in, hold it. Imagine any negativity that might be in your mind getting caught up in that breath of life, and I want you to blow it out across the room into a purple flame of Saint Germain, where it's converted into beautiful golden energy and returned to the universe. See it going up past the moon, past the stars, past the sun, right up to those pearly gates, making a U-turn and coming right back down into your seventh chakra, filling your whole body with that warm, golden healing light. Let's do it again. Another deep breath in. Fill your lungs. Imagine any negativity that you may have heard this past week, getting caught in that breath of life. Blow it out right into the purple flame of Saint Germain, where it's converted into that beautiful golden light that goes up past all the planets, makes that U-turn at the speed of thought, comes right back down into your chakras. One more time. Deep breath in. Hold it. Any negativity you remember from your childhood, caught in that breath of life, blow it out. It's no longer a part of you. Into the purple flame of Saint Germain, where it's converted into beautiful energy. Return to the universe, comes back down into your chakras, and fills you with healing golden light of love. I want you to imagine holding in your hand a power gift. Anything that is power to you, that is love to you, because love is the strongest power. It can be a piece of jewelry. It can be your favorite stone. It can be a picture or a memory of your pet, a previous home. I want you to swing that gift around your whole body, creating a powerful circle of mirrored light. Only that which is of the highest and best and brought by your spirit guides and guardian angels may come into that protective mirrored light. Everything else is reflected back from whence it came. We wish it so, and therefore it is. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Until then, just listen to me. Why do songs like the Barbara Streisand song Memories from the movie The Way We Were stir our soul? Memories are our mind walking old roads from our past. And this trip down memory lane can be cathartic, joyful, and it can also be painful. How can our dreams help us with these memories? And as memories change over time, do our emotions connected to them change as well? These are questions we're going to ask our author expert, Tammy Hader. And you can learn more about Tammy at tammyhader.com, and that's TammyHader.com from my Dreaming Healing website. Again, go to dreamvision7radio.com, look for the hosts, look for my name, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Click on that. It will take you to my page, and everything about Tammy is on that page. There are even QR codes. Just hold your phone up to the QR code, click on the picture of your camera, and it will take you to Tammy's website where her book is. So welcome to the show, Tammy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here on your show.
So Tammy, you are the expert about walking old roads. You even wrote a fantastic book about it, about going back and revisiting our past. You said something in one of the correspondences that we had that were in your one-page query letter. You said, I am not as nice as I used to be. I went in search of my lost benevolence and found it on memory lane. I love that. Tell us about that. What do you mean you weren't as nice, or that you're not as nice as you used to be?
Well, I think that that's really what Walking Old Roads is about. It's about my realization that it's not only the society that I see outside of my property lines that's grown less kind over the years. It's about me waking up one day and realizing I'm part of that society and I'm not as nice as I used to be. And the kind young woman that my hometown raised me to be just seemed to be lost. And I felt compelled to try to rediscover that lost benevolence and started retracing my footsteps into my past in hopes that maybe lightning could strike twice and I could become that better person again and be a better representative of my baby boomer generation. And I hope that's what people get from reading my book, that they understand that the book is not just about me, it's about how I'm relatable to their life. I've fractured society, but I haven't done it alone. I'm one of the millions of average people out there that is losing the ability to trust each other, which is really very frightening. But our civility and sense of community, it's been damaged over the years. But I believe that we average people have the numbers and the ability to fix that problem. And I hope that my book can help others see themselves within my stories and begin to repair that trust that we once had in our neighborhoods and towns. I think we need that more now than ever. So we can look back to the past, circle back to how things were and try to get a little bit of that back.
You know, that it takes someone who can really very honestly look at themselves, look deep within themselves to come up with that realization, oh gosh, I used to be so much nicer than I am today. So I have to applaud you for stepping into that circle of honesty and saying, look, you know, I don't necessarily like what I'm seeing right now, but I know that I had a better self before, and I need to go find me, because this isn't working. Because, you know, I hope you agree, Tammy, no matter where we go, there we are. So we can't get rid of this person that we're no longer enamored with, this person who we go, who is this? This isn't a happy, friendly, nice person that I used to know. Let me go find him. So in a way, it was kind of Tammy Hader in search of self in your book.
It was, and that's how it started, at least. And my mom helped me in my search for the lost benevolence. She was a great source of information for me. Obviously, we lived my entire childhood together. So.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Well, you know, we're very close with our mothers, and they've known us since before we actually knew them, because they were feeling us bouncing around in there before we were even born, and we got to see them. So, you know, our mothers are a real good connection to the past. How did it feel working with your mom? Was that, did the two of you ever clash on memories? I remember asking myself that as I was reading your book. I wonder if your mother had one memory of something and you had another memory of something, how did you come to an agreement on memories?
Well, you know, a lot of the memories that we talked about were sparked by photographs that we found or some sort of memorabilia that she had stuck in a boot box in the closet. And so we had something to go from that was tangible. So we really didn't clash that much in our memories at that time. I've noticed, though, that her memories are starting to kind of fade a little bit in recent months. So I'm glad that we went down this journey when we did, because we were able to share it in a really nice, special kind of way that we probably couldn't do now.
Did your mom read your book?
She has read a version of it.
Okay. And that's helpful. What did she say? What did she think?
Well, she didn't really give me any constructive criticism. she she just thought that it was wonderful. She loved it.
Oh,
But that
nice.
was a very early version of the book, so it really has changed quite a bit since then. I'm anxious for her to read it again.
Uh-huh. So, for our audience, we all have a story in ourselves. We all have a past. And it can be very cathartic and it can be very joyful to write your story as a memoir. I love memoirs. I love memoirs more than any other type of book that I read. I love memoirs because they're about real people doing real things and expressing what they're feeling when they're doing it. And that's one of the reasons why I loved your book, Tammy. Just loved your book because it's real, it's honest. And as the reader of the book, I was able to say, yeah, that resonates with me. And then other times I would read it and go, gosh, I really applaud her for being so honest. I don't know if I could be that honest about myself in a book and now somebody else was going to read it. But then I remembered my book, Surviving Cancerland. After I wrote it, I thought, nobody is going to like this book. Nobody's going to want to read this book. They're really not. And it ended up winning 3 big book awards. So I have a feeling your book is going to follow suit because it's great. It's honest. It's real. And it's something everybody can read and say, yes, I understand this.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I hope you're right.
Oh, I think so. I think so. So how did I know that you made this big leap from working with numbers to working with words. What made you decide to do that? You had a degree.
Right.
In numbers, not words. Right. You didn't have a literary degree.
Right. I was an accountant for 30 years. And I retired from accounting.
Very left brain. Writing is right brain.
It's strange, yes. But I retired from accounting in 2017, and I fully intended to get some sort of part-time job, but I had no idea what it would be. No idea at all. So I took a year off to kind of take care of projects around the house that you just don't get to when you're working full-time. And I was trying to think about what could I do. And it was during that time that I discovered a few parameters for my job search, right? So I wanted to do something where I could be my own boss, have a flexible schedule, work from home, very difficult things to find out there in the workplace. And at the same time, I was helping my mom cope with the loss of my dad, who had passed away about a month before I retired. And we were doing a lot of reminiscing about life with Dad, which made me start thinking about my own mortality and what life was going to be like for me when I was her age. And my husband and I had made this conscious decision a long time ago not to have children. So I knew I wasn't going to have someone to sit around and reminisce with me in my old age. So when your mind is in a place like that, where you're looking forward and you're looking backward, kind of at the same time, you start to think about things from the past from a different perspective. And I remembered my high school English teacher, Mrs. Farrell, who was the best teacher ever. She wrote a note on one of my papers, and she said, "I like the way you write." Just that simple little statement that I didn't even realize I had remembered. And it just popped into my head, probably not because I remember being flattered by it, but because of my opposition to those words at the time. I thought, well, that's nice, but numbers are my jam. So I'm going to numbers, not words. But now, looking back on it, I thought, well, there's another path that I didn't take before. And I started thinking about how it fit the parameters. I could work from home. I could be my own boss. I could have flexibility in my schedule. it would be a good way to exercise my brain. And the bonus of it is I could create a legacy of my life that I could use to reminisce with later on. So my husband told me about medium.com, started putting stories out there and started to get a following. And I read the works of lots of different authors out there, all different fields, fiction, nonfiction, sci-fi, memoir, things that were upbeat, things that were dark, just everything, all the styles across the board that I could read. And I wanted to know not just why they were saying what they were saying, but how they were saying it. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to teach myself some writing techniques by doing that. And the writing improved a little bit, and I started to make a little bit of money on it, and started writing for Biz Catalyst 360. And then WebMD approached me to join a patient perspective project that they were doing. So I started writing some migraine articles for them, and I still do that. So it took a few years, but I made that leap. And I look forward to seeing where it takes me from here.
I think it's going to take you far. And it just goes to show, if you're watching the show and you're very left brain, you're in numbers, accounting, you're not into the artistic things, you can still use that logical brain, that literal brain, to help you organize your writing. There are so many other really great writers out there, but they can't organize themselves because they're so right-brained. They don't have any of the left brain organizational skills. And I really think, Tammy, that what we're seeing with you and the work that you just did with this book is by brain, which is very rare. It's somebody who can access their left brain and their right brain at the same time, pull them together and create what's known as a bi-brain. And those are very successful people.
Oh, a bi-brain. I've not heard of that term before, but I do know that even creative people, if you want to make a living at it, it's a business.
It is. It's a left brain thing. Yes.
Right.
So we need to stop quickly to take a quick break. So I want to leave you with the idea: are you left brain or right brain, or are you like Tammy, a bi-brain? And we'll talk about it some more when we come back from this break. You're listening to Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, and we're talking with Tammy Hader about her book, Walking Old Roads. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velarde's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust to learn her astonishing secret. Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Kat Kanavos, and we're talking with Tammy about her book, Walking Old Roads, which is what we all do the minute we have a memory. We're walking our old roads. And she was talking about how she did not have a degree in writing. She had a degree in numbers. She didn't work with words. She worked with accounting. So, but she brought all of her skills together to write this book, and we all have a book in us. So I wanted to ask you, when you were writing the book, because this is a memoir, and memoirs are very different from, let's say, a fictional book or other nonfiction books where you're researching something else because you're not really emotionally involved in researching the migration of the sparrow. Right? I mean, that's, you know, a very left brain thing to do using right brain words. But in your case, you're researching your past in the present and putting it under a microscope and then writing the results. So when you were doing this, Tammy, when you were going back into your past, and this is where my psychotherapy comes in, my degree in psychotherapy, and you looked at the events that took place in your early years, did you find that as you were writing down those memories that you had to kind of keep your car on the road because you wanted to pull off into other memories that were pulling you away from that main memory you were trying to write about? In other words, once your mind got into that past, did you find it was like taking off and just kind of running around?
Not really. Oddly enough, now that you mention that, I'm wondering why it didn't. But
yeah, I'm wondering why it didn't too.
But no, I mean, I was pretty well able to focus on one memory at a time. If it did bring up some other thought along the way, I do have a little journal that I keep. So I just jot things down into that journal. And of course, being the organized person that I am, I have pages for certain things, certain time frames or certain topics. So if I had a thought, I would just jot it down in the right place, and then I didn't have to think about it again until I was ready to write about that.
Oh, that is so organized. I remember when I was writing my books, I would carry a little notebook in my purse. And when the thought came into my mind to go into the book, I would stop wherever I was. If I was out in the street waiting for someone to pick me up, I would sit down on the curb or sit down on a bench, and I would write that thought right then, because it's just like smoke, poof, it's gone. And I remember one time my husband and I went out to dinner with another couple, and I had a thought, I had that thought right then. And I reached into my purse. I carried a big purse because I had my pens, my pencils, all my stuff in my phone, everything in there.
Mhm.
And I started writing it down, and the woman looked at my husband and said, "What is she doing?" And my husband looked over at me and he said, "Oh, she's writing down her thoughts because she's writing a book." And the woman looked at him, looked at me, looked back at him and said, "Can we make her stop?" And he said, "I wouldn't try it if I were you, but if you want to try, I'll stand back here and watch." But that brings up the idea of journaling. How did journaling and keeping that journal, Tammy, help you with your book?
It just helped me organize my thoughts a little bit better. And when I first started writing, I was just all over the place. I would write about when I was in grade school, and then something that happened yesterday, and then something from high school, and just back and forth all over the place and very random. And I'm not really good at random. So, yeah, a friend of mine told me that I am deliberate and she is random. And that's just the perfect description of me. So the randomness of my initial essay writing was not as productive. So then I thought, well, I need a way to organize this, which, normally I would use a computer, because that's what we do now. We use computers for everything, but I couldn't necessarily take that with me everywhere. So I've got to get a little book then. So I got a little journal, and didn't really know what I was doing. And I don't necessarily write whole complete thoughts even in it. It might just be a phrase or just a general idea. But that helped a great deal in allowing me to kind of brainstorm about the ideas, but yet keep the writing very organized and deliberate.
Mm-hmm. So, it's funny when you say it's not a whole phrase, or, you didn't write a lot necessarily in your journal at the time, but when I used my journal to write my book, Surviving Cancerland. And I remember when after I had written my journal, Tammy, I put it away. I was like, I don't want to remember any of this crisis. I don't want to remember going through cancer at all. And then when I had recurrence, I was like, oh my God, where's that journal? I need that journal. It's got so much important information in there that I'm going to need the second time in order to live. So I went and I dug down and I found the journal and I pulled it out. Tammy, it had pieces of toilet paper taped in it where I had jotted down ideas that you're talking about, and I needed to jot them down right then. I had receipts, I had napkins, I had everything taped in there. So I'm sure, audience, Tammy's journal was very organized because, like she said, she's very deliberate. Mine looked like, I don't know, to look at it, you had to start laughing, and you would laugh for 5 minutes just looking at mine. But the thing we both shared was we used that journal to help us organize our memories, whether you're going to do it deliberately or randomly, to get the ideas on the book.
Right. It's whatever works for you.
Yes. You can have more deliberate or you can have more random, but it doesn't matter. You've got it organized. You even got the random organized in that journal. So I'd like to ask you quickly before we go to break, because I mean, it's amazing how quickly these shows go, especially when we're talking about information like this. And all of you out there listening, if you are budding writers, you may want to listen to this show a couple of times, because there are tips coming out in here that I don't even have in my questions, or I didn't believe, would even come out that are. This is a question I wanted to ask you after I finished reading your book, actually. When you were going back into your past, deliberately going back into your past to write your book, did you find that information that either you weren't sure about, maybe it was a little difficult, maybe it was a little sad, did you find that that information was coming through in your dreams at night?
Well, it was for me, I found that oftentimes when I would start to go to sleep is when I would start to think about these things. And sometimes it just was something that I have trouble kind of narrowing down earlier in the day would just become very clear right before I would go to sleep. And I even got up a few times and made notes in my journal because I was afraid I would forget it by the time I woke up. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't so much in the actual dreams as maybe right before them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's called the hypnagogic state in dreams. Right. It's where you start spinning and the stuff comes in right away because you're, like you said, your mind doesn't want you to forget it. But even if you don't remember working on it later in your dreams, that's part of dream work. Did you find, Tammy, that when you were working on your book, sometimes you'd wake up in the morning, you'd be exhausted?
I always wake up in the morning exhausted. I have cats. So.
I know, I understand that. Mine dig me out at about 6 o'clock and want me to feed them, so I have to smack them with my pillow. Sometimes when we do dream work, yeah, I know, it's just, Loki's in there digging, and my favorite is when he takes his tongue and sticks it up my nostril, because he knows that will wake me up. And it does. There's just nothing like, you think your own morning breath is bad? Try morning cat. Yeah, he's a stinker. But often when we wake up in the morning and we're really tired, it's because we've done dream work. We have actually solved problems. It's a problem-solving state where we've gone into our dreams and we've worked out solutions to questions that we have in our waking world, and they often pertain to the book we're working on. And although we may not remember them, we were working so hard during the night that we wake up almost tired in the morning. An example would be, let's say you had a boss in the past, or you even have a boss right now that's a real pain in the neck. And you really want to get rid of your boss. That's the thought in your mind when you go to sleep. While you're sleeping, you may go through a number of solutions to get rid of that boss. One may be you set him up to get fired. Another one may be that you go out of your way to make friends with him. How can you do that? You go through that in your dreams. And the third one is you behead him in your dreams. You just cut his head off and throw it out the road, because there are no repercussions to any of your dreams. You won't be held accountable in your waking world. You won't go to jail. Nothing will happen. But what you do go through are all the emotions. Oh, if you cut his head off, how do you feel? Oh, I feel really bad. Now his wife, he can't go home to his wife. He can't go home to his children. What about the one getting him fired? Well, I was scared the whole time that I was going to get fired too in my dream. What about making friends with him? That one actually felt the best. So that's dream work. So do you think possibly that while you were writing your book, you were going through some of this work of how you're going to explain what you went through in the past in a way a reader who doesn't know you can understand?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I would imagine so. Because just it's just relaxing and falling asleep. It just it kind of helped whenever I had writer's block with it. And I guess I never really, delved into why that was the time of day that my mind would just clear and I would see the answer that I was looking for. but it did happen quite often.
Goodness, yeah, writer's block. We all have to deal with that one. So we've got to take a quick break. Don't go away. You're listening to Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, but my friends all call me Kat. And we're talking to Tammy Hader about her book, Walking Old Roads. And it's a memoir, something that everybody should write, if not for themselves, because it's cathartic, to hand down to friends and family, because life is short. And sometimes what you can leave for others are your memories, those old roads in a book. We'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to Happy, Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide. Darkest hours to brightest moments. Transformation from despair to happiness. And chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity, Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available on sacredstoriespublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Dreaming Healing. I am your host, Kat Kanavos, and we're talking with Tammy Hader today about her book, Walking Old Roads. Dream work, which happens often when you're writing a memoir, and you. So for those of you who are authors out there, I think writing a memoir, your memoir, is an excellent way to start your writing career, because we need to write what we know. And if nothing else, we know ourselves. And if you want to get to know yourself even better, write your memoir. You'll be amazed at the person that you will meet on the pages of that book. So I wanted to tell everybody quickly, because my book, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, which won the Nautilus Book Awards. I'm trying to hold this up so you don't see all the lights in it. There it is, Dreams That Can Save Your Life. It just got translated into Chinese by a publisher in Taiwan. Well, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I took one look at this and I said, okay, where's the front? Where's the back? Do I have it the right side up? And then I managed to find these three numbers 205 and figured out which way was up for that book. So dreams that can save your life, early warning signs of cancer and other diseases, just came out in Chinese. So if you have family members who don't speak English, but speak Chinese, they can order the book off of Amazon. So welcome back to the show, Tammy. You mentioned that societal problems of a waning sense of community and compassion is mentioned throughout your book, and I agree with that. What happens? What do you think happens in our life that when we're children, we like trust everybody, everything? There's all this trust, and then as we get older, we create a distrust and an uncertainty about parts of the world, parts of our life, people we meet. And do you think that's a good thing, a bad thing, or both?
Well, I think it is all about trust. And trust is such a leap of faith these days. And when we're children, we're just so much more in the moment. Our lives are just whatever's happening right then and there. So maybe we just don't think about all of the other things as much when we're kids, like we do when we're adults. We don't, maybe it's some naiveness of being a child. But yeah, I do see a lot of problems in society with a sense of community and compassion is waning. A lot of distrust, and it's hard to be nice sometimes. It can leave you very vulnerable to people who want to take advantage of compassion. And we've all had situations where we've been nice to somebody and it just completely backfired. And so it's not about tossing good judgment aside. I think it's about practicing being reasonably cautious. And my best advice to you would be to think more like a child, perhaps, and just start small, start close to home with friends, family, and neighbors, and develop kindness in a slow process. The idea of saving the world is just overwhelming. I can't do that. But I can make my home better. I can make my neighborhood better. I can make my town better. And those are doable goals, the small gestures that can make a really sustainable difference. And I'm not talking about anything that would go viral, nothing that would be filmed by someone and put on social media. Just the small gestures that can add up in a very safe way. Holding the door open for somebody, or letting someone ahead of you in the checkout line, or just smiling at somebody as you walk by, waving at a neighbor, and just being very sincere with your interactions with people, very sincere and honest, and like when we were kids. And I think that could be a very important way of getting our sense of community back, which won't happen overnight, but, it's doable.
What are your thoughts on random acts of kindness? You kind of touched on it when you said that somebody in line at the checkout counter go ahead of you. I do that often when I've got a whole bunch of stuff and they've got 3 things in their hand. It's like, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that kind of thing. I love the big going viral grand gestures. Those are great too. People should keep doing those, absolutely. But those are not the kind of things that will sustain civility. I think it's all of those little things that make a difference. I've gone shopping with my mom a lot, and she just will smile and speak to anybody in the grocery store. And she does it with such ease.
With such what?
Such ease. It's natural to her to do that. And it just occurred to me during all of this that used to be normal for me too, but somewhere along the line I lost that. And so now I've been making the conscious effort to go to the store, to just look up, lift my eyes, make eye contact with somebody, and just smile or say hi, and it feels so unnatural anymore, but it feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really
sometimes
good.
Sometimes going back to those baby steps can feel kind of unnatural. It's like putting on an old pair of shoes or walking down an old road. Was there any one specific thing you think caused you to move from this overwhelming kindness or being able to talk to strangers to being more shut down? Was there any one thing that did that, or do you think it was a lot of things just building up?
Yeah, it wasn't one thing. It happened so gradually, I didn't even notice it until I looked in the mirror one day and thought, who is this person? She doesn't hardly even smile anymore. Wow. And then spending more time with my mom and seeing how naturally she connects with people. And I just thought, man, I want to get that back again.
And did this happen while you were writing the book, or after you'd written the book, or before the book that you noticed this with your mom and you said, I want to get back to that place? When did that happen?
I noticed it, my problem, at the beginning, right before I started writing the book. And then it was while I was writing the book that I started to notice how she was different from me, and how, I always thought that we were so much alike, and we probably were, until that degradation of my benevolence. And I just thought, man, she is such a great role model for that sort of thing. And I want to be that. And I think that made me think about how something so simple, her being just nice to somebody in the grocery store, made me think of a good role model. It gave me someone that I wanted to be like. So that can make a difference to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be more like her and make a positive effect on the generations that are coming after. And I think we have the power to do that. We just have to decide that that's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something else. Since you were kind of holding back all of that, you with strangers, and your mom wasn't, do you feel like your mother would have been an easier target for somebody that wanted to take advantage of her versus you? Or do you think your mom could have handled that and still stood within her benevolence?
I think she could handle it and still be kind, because she is a practical and reasonable person. So I guess it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Be a mixture, and
it can be both.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of you can either pick door number 1 or door number 2. Like, my first thought is always, what if I want to make door number 3?
It's funny because I live by this rule. When given a choice, take both. Don't you? Take both. Do you want this or this? Yes. So.
Yeah, I mean, I had one of my friends from Medium asked me once, if you were approached with 2 doors, one had a dollar sign on it and one had a heart on it, which one would you pick? And I really struggled with that, because I kept thinking, I want one that's got both. And what is wrong with that?
We think a lot alike, Tammy. It's amazing. And I did not get a degree in finance. No, I didn't. But we're coming up to the very end of this third segment of the show. Doesn't this show go fast?
Yeah.
This show just flies. So Tammy, I know that the poster that is on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network page, my website page, has the QR codes. So anybody, if you want to get to Tammy's website where she's got her book on there, you can see what she's written, how to order her book. You can go and follow her on Medium, on her social media pages. You can contact her. You can go to my website, The Queen of Dreams, or you can type in Cat, The Queen of Dreams. It'll take you right there. Look up in the right-hand corner. You'll see Dream Vision 7 Radio. Click that little black button. It will take you to my website on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, which is different from my regular website. And you'll see Tammy's posters there, and her picture is there, and her bio is there, and all the links are hot. So you can just click on the links, or you can take your phone and use the QR codes and go right to her pages, right to her website, right to everything. Okay, and get her book, because even if you don't really want to find your benevolence, let's say you never lost it, but you want to write a memoir, this is an excellent way to learn how. Read other memoirs. Mm-hmm. See how they stayed in sequence while they were still jumping between the present and the past. That's very tricky. And Tammy does a great job with that. So, walking old roads can be healing, because childhood situations may be viewed very differently now as we revisit the past with the eyes and emotions of an adult. And dream work can be part of that process. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show with us today, Tammy. You've been a great guest, and you've actually opened up a lot of doors to the past for me, thinking about stuff that I went through when I was on my journey with old roads. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our audience with? Like one more thought or anything?
I like one particular sentence that I wrote very much, and it goes something like, I love the pockets of joy that I find in day-to-day life.
I love that. That's great.
It's a bold statement, but I think it holds true whether you're a child or an adult.
Those pockets of joy. It's so easy to step over or look past those little tiny pockets of joy. So I'm going to leave you, audience, with that thought. Find your pockets of joy today. Find at least one pocket of joy and say, thank you, Tammy. Okay? So remember, everybody, it's time to go. But remember, everybody dreams, and some dreams save lives. So until next time, write your dreams down so that your spirit guides and guardian angels can talk to you through those sacred dream doors. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us this evening, and a big thanks to our producer. Tune in next time to Dreaming Healing for more cutting-edge research, live dream interpretations, and stories with radio host and award-winning author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Listen every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time with call-in live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Remember, everyone dreams, but some dreams save lives. Live your dreams. Find more about Kat at KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com. That's Kathleen with a K. OKEEFEKANAVOS, or The Queen of Dreams on Google search.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.